In this webcast, we're going to talk about Facebook, Facebook Live, Facebook ads, Facebook engagement, everything Facebook with Brian Fenzo. Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Antoine with Catapult Marketing, and this is webcast number 32. And today we've got the world famous Brian Fenzo in the house. Hi Brian, how are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing marvelous. We're supposed not to be topical, but I know there's a lot of football going on, and I know that you're a big-time Steelers fan, and I know that you're sitting on a big disappointment, but there's always another season, right?
There is, and I kind of unplugged yesterday. I needed a mental break to kind of gather my thoughts, but yes, I'm on to hockey. I'm already excited about the women's hockey, and I put football behind me already.
Yeah, it's kind of like for us in South Florida, football fails, we've got basketball. Basketball fails, we've got something else, right? We go on to the next thing. All right, cool. So Brian, you're really known in the space of, social media. It is particularly in Facebook. Like, anybody that does something in Facebook knows of Brian Fenzo. But for the few people, the few business owners out there that don't know you, please introduce yourself and tell them, why you get up in the morning or what keeps you going.
Sure. No, and thanks for having me on. We got to hang out recently in Florida, so I had a great time hanging out with you there and at that event. And for me, what I like to say is I love emerging technologies. I'm a computer science background. I really love understanding where technology and trends are taking us. And I try to help, I like to say, translate the geek speak. And what that really means is I try to understand where things are going tomorrow and help people to not only market for their business today, but to put themselves on a path to be successful tomorrow. So some consulting, some strategy, and of course my full-time spot is speaking. So I get to speak around the world on a whole slot of technologies from Facebook to live video to augmented virtual reality and artificial intelligence. You saw my presentation on omnisensory innovation. So like for me, I love taking the complex technologies of the future, simplifying them so businesses can do what they do best, which is their business, and kind of leverage technology to reach that audience.
Very cool. And if you can tell already, he's a rather dynamic and engaged speaker. You're not going to fall asleep. Brian takes the stage and everybody perks up. Okay, it's going to be fun time now.
I don't know how to turn it off. My mom said I came out of the womb talking, and so I've always been good at talking. Now I have a job that lets me do it.
Yeah, they gave you a badge when you came out. Speaker. There you go. All right, Brian. So here's what we're going to do today, and please, you can start right now by putting some questions or comments for Brian. I want to talk mainly about Facebook because this is the 800-pound gorilla for business owners out there. Most of them, they need to be heavily involved in there. A lot of questions that I'm getting from business owners about Facebook Live. They don't know how to use it, how to leverage it, what is it about, does it apply to me? And tons of questions. Some of them, I see them trying it out and I'm like, okay, that's not a Facebook Live. But at least they're trying it out because it's new and it's confusing for a lot of people. So give us a little bit of clarity. Like if I'm a run-of-the-mill small business America, how do I use Facebook Live and why does it apply to me?
So the first thing we have to talk about is kind of the when we're going to probably get into Facebook changes, but live video, Mark Zuckerberg is all in with live video. And the reason being, we have to, to understand Facebook, you have to understand Mark's mindset, because let's face it, I think it's probably, it's not only is everyone on Facebook, but he has a different vision for social media, a different vision for the digital world. And what he believes is he wants Facebook to be as close to offline human interaction as humanly possible. And there is nothing more human than video. There's nothing more human than regular video than live video, because on live video, you can't automate it. You can't fake it. You can't, and you have to be willing to say, I always say my favorite phrase on live video is, I don't know. When someone asks you a question, you have to be willing to say, I don't know. And that's not normal. If you're a marketer, we're not taught to, start telling people what we don't know. Our job is to kind of facilitate and sometimes stretch the truth of what we do know.
Right. If you don't know, make something up, right?
Right. Yeah, that was the way before. And I think, and for the last 9 or 10 years, especially, as social media as a whole, I think we've been leveraging social to distance ourselves from our customers, to scale up, to really, find a way to leverage, a channel that was made for social, but really we were using it to market at people. And I think what Mark has kind of gone all in with, Facebook, and this is the most recent, and this comes directly from their head of product marketing, is that live videos get 6 times more reach than regular videos on Facebook. So Facebook as a whole gives preferential treatment to native video, but if they're giving 6 times more reach to live video, okay, now that gives you a reason to do it. But what makes a good live video, or what should you do live video? And I always say the reason live video is powerful is because anybody who has a phone, anybody who has a web camera can go live. The reason most live videos are really bad is because anybody can go live on live video and anybody can press the button, right? And so, I think 2017 was the year of bad live video. Like everybody that was a big brand was trying it. They were pushing the button, and I have a phrase that says, push the damn button. Like I always tell people, just push the button, try it out. But you have to kind of go beyond that, right? You have to say, where does it fit in my strategy? Where does it fit in my marketing, my marketing tool set, right? This is one way of doing things. And I always like to tell people that one of the best ways to do Facebook Live, or kind of start out, is to use the back of your camera or to interview somebody. So, I always tell people, it's the phone that is really powerful. But too often people look at me and they say, Brian, we want to do Facebook Live, but I don't know what I should talk about. And sometimes people don't need to hear from you. Right? The idea that you can interview people. So if you're going to a industry show, or you're working with a new client, the idea that you could turn the camera on and you can talk with one of your customers, let your customers do a lot of the talking, but really have that conversation and leverage live video to kind of do that. That's a great way to kind of step into this. Another one is, and I use this phrase, I call it participatory content. When you're going live on Facebook Live, part of the most valuable aspect of it is that once you get the conversation started in the comments, you allow the audience to not only participate, but to shape where you're going with the content. Like to me, that's my favorite part. I helped launch IBM and Dell's very first live videos. And one of the things that the IBM team was worried about, they had all these people around, and as soon as we were live, the conversation started flowing and comments started coming in. And the head of brand at IBM just looks over at me and goes, this is as easy as just allowing the audience to participate. And I was like, it is, but we can almost get overwhelmed. And when you first go live on Facebook, you might not have any viewers. You might only have a couple of viewers, and they don't understand how to engage. You have to kind of start the groundswell. I always tell people that, if there's a big event coming up, you want to go live a couple times prior to that big event so that you get your audience trained, you get used to doing it. But, I think one of the biggest ways that small businesses especially can look at live video is, how can I give people, and this is the word I use, access. I use, if you can take away any word on this show about live video, the word is access. How do you give people access to people access to experiences, access to maybe a product that you have that you've never shown on video before, access to experiences they can't get anywhere else. Like maybe you have a great team meeting, and after the team meeting, you turn the camera on and you do a recap of your team meeting. People might be like, well, why would people care about my small business's team meeting? Well, people buy from people they like, but they also buy from people they can relate to. And when you're able to humanize yourself and be like, hey, we just had a new team meeting. We're launching a brand new sale this weekend, and we just came up with these 3 new ideas. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. As a consumer, all of a sudden, you're not the big, Amazon.com. You're not so far disconnected. you're now going to inspire me to get out of my house, to drive to your store, to buy your product, because you are a human, right? I think small businesses have the easiest path to success on live video, but
Right.
sometimes kind of get overwhelmed, because the reason people that you're a small business is because more than likely you're passionate about what you do. And that's,
Right. Right.
we're a big enterprise. When I help launch these big ones, I mean, we have to really like manipulate 30 teams. I mean, when we went live at the Super Bowl, I mean, it was 6 months worth of legal conversations and all of this like over mapping. And ultimately, if we would have just found the people that were passionate about what they do and that were there to tell a story, we would have been a lot easier off. And I think small business owners kind of have to get over that. The other piece is you're never going to be great at live video until you start using video, right?
Right.
Video is such, it's not natural, and people tell me all the time, like, Ryan, you must have went to school for video. And I can tell you 3 years ago, I had 3 videos on my YouTube channel. I mean, I had no video. Live video for me, it's actually, to me, it's easier than production video. And the reason I say that is live video gives me the excuse that if something goes wrong, it's live, it's okay, right? Where, if you're doing a produced video, it's like the lighting has to be perfect. The audio has to be perfect. There's so much more that goes around it. For me, live video allows me to let my guard down. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. I'm not afraid to say, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." It's one of those things that live video is that gateway to kind of shrink the distance, right? I talked about it to start off. We've used Facebook and social media to broaden our distance from our customers. I think we now realize customers want to know the faces behind a company. Now we can use live video to kind of bridge that back. And imagine the idea that, and this is, I'll kind of wrap this on live video, is that my dad was not a fan of social media, was not a fan of anybody who's a sales guy. And he was like, son, the handshake is what does business. A handshake is great marketing. A handshake is great sales. And I said, Dad, you're right. But if you use social correctly, especially live video, that very first handshake, very first time someone walks in your store, the very first time someone buys a product, if they've been engaging with you on social media, it's not a handshake, it's a hug. And if you can leverage live video to let people inside of your business so that when they walk in the doors the first time, they want to give you a hug, you've won, right? Like that's the beauty. And I think live video, it's amazing. Live video is shifting everything. I think every marketing channel, from email marketing to regular social media marketing to digital ad spend to TV, what we've realized is people want to relate with the people behind the brand. They no longer have a relationship with a logo. They no longer have a relationship with just an individual product. They have a relationship with the people that make up the brand. And it's exciting times. We just have to change our mindset when you're pressing live video. But I always tell people, press the damn button, get kind of in a rhythm, and then and kind of.
Yeah, you just got to go out there. And there's a matter of fact, I'm going to be, as a marketer, I've been resisting Facebook Live because I've been doing it a particular way, recording those videos as we're doing right now. And I'm not familiar with Facebook Live, but I think you're getting me excited. So you're probably the kick in the rear that I needed. So thanks for that. So if you have any questions right now or anything for Brian in terms of, Facebook Live, what it means, like if you're a specific, what I'd like to hear is like, listen, this is never going to work for my business. Like put it out there and let's start a conversation about that, because maybe there's some things that you haven't thought of. And if you are doing Facebook Live and it's been very successful for your business, we'd love to hear about it, because we want to hear about things that worked and things that didn't work, so we can kind of like navigate both. Listen, this is uncharted territory for a lot of us. So we're going to learn from each other. So please share with your comments right below. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk with you about is this thing that has been going, and I'm seeing exploding everywhere now in the Facebook world, the changes to the Facebook feed. And there's a lot of people that are upset. There's a lot of people, oh my God, what does it mean? Here they go, they change again. Yes, they do. And they'll change again and again and again. So talk to us about what is happening with the Facebook feed, and what does it mean for us as business owners? What has just happened that has changed on the feed?
So I think this is the probably the biggest shift in Facebook direction we maybe have ever seen. And the interesting thing is it's not new, because we've known for a long time that Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook team have a greater purpose for Facebook, right? They want Facebook to be somewhere that's enjoyable, that is authentic, that is reliable, that not only fosters conversations, but connects people around the world. The problem has been, we've kind of lost organic reach for those that run pages. We've kind of lost organic reach pretty much over the last 2 years. We've almost lost almost all of the organic reach. And the reason that is marketers ruined it, right? We figured out that, like, oh, wait a second, we pay for advertising, we pay for all of our other marketing. Social media organic reach was free. Let's just blast as much crap as we can out there. And all of a sudden, Facebook realized our users are not only overwhelmed, but all of this gamification, like every small bit or every business that has been uploading viral videos that we've all seen 100 times, they just upload it because they want that bump in organic reach. Right.
But let me jump in just for a quick thing here, and I'm going to clarify that for business owners out there, because I speak to a lot of business owners, and sometimes I'm seeing the deer in the headlight and the eyes opening up. What we're talking about here, organic reach, is that when you're putting a post on your Facebook page, an article, a video, and whatnot, and you have 100 followers, what we're saying is that, a couple of years ago, maybe it would have been seen by 20 to 50 people. And that reach has been steadily going down to the point where right now we could almost say that organic reach is dead, which means that if you put a post on your Facebook page without boosting it, with zero engagement, zero like, the chances are is absolutely nobody is seeing it, like zero. Right? And you can actually look on your Facebook page, you'll look at the results, how many times it's been liked, viewed, and whatnot, and you'll see that it's actually very a dismal number. So that's what we're talking about, organic reach. So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure
I'm glad you clarified that. And I think that's important too, because here's the thing, and really what the massive change in Facebook is doing is Facebook is realizing what they really have always wanted is they want to foster meaningful interactions. And they've said that for a long while. That's why they really wanted comments, but I think the wording of this is really important. They're shifting the entire platform, the way the platform serves up content, serves up our friends' content, serves up information. They're shifting it towards meaningful interactions. And for the first time, they're going to reward meaningful interactions, and they're going to penalize those that are not. Because for 2 years, they've been telling us we want meaningful interactions. Live video is engaged. We want engagement, but yet they've allowed people that have gamified the system. They've allowed people that have done all. And so one of the things that really stood out for me in this announcement was they know their goal is for people to spend less time on Facebook, but the time that they spend on Facebook being more meaningful, getting more content that resonates with the consumer. And that is that. And so for those that are out there, when you think about it, and I like using this kind of, difference, right? There's a difference between having people that are spectators of your brand or an audience of your brand, right? Spectators are the people that scroll your Facebook feed and they see your content in their feed, but they don't engage. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot I liked that page when I was, at an event. That one time I bought a fishing rod. I liked their Facebook page. That's your spectators. What Facebook is trying to master is they're trying to say, okay, we're not worried about the spectators. There's other platforms for spectator type content. We want to find and get your content in front of those that are your actual audience, right? Your true fans. And so some of the ways they're going to do this is that the longer a comment is, the more beef that's in a comment, the more substance that is in the comment, the more that post is going to be rewarded. So the interesting thing about this is it's no longer going to be about the perfect viral video. It's no longer going to be about the perfect title. Those that have been doing clickbait, those that have been pushing out fake news, those that have been uploading viral videos, your days are over, right? Facebook, that's really what happened. And for me, the people that are really upset are the people that haven't bought in to community.
The people that are gaming. Yeah, people that are gaming the system.
Correct. And let's face it, it's one thing to preach and this is something I've been, I have a philosophy. It's called think like a fan, right? Like that's my philosophy, and really means if you put yourself in your fans' shoes, I don't care what business you are. You could be a plumber, so you could be selling, bass boats, to be selling, snowboards. Put yourself in your shoes of your consumer and ask yourself, what kind of content would I actually engage with? What kind of content would I have a conversation about, right?
Right.
And that's where this shift is happening. And I've been preaching this for a couple of years. The problem has been Facebook has been preaching it as well, but they haven't been penalizing those that aren't doing it. And that's what's changing. And so this is kind of a massive disruption. It's interesting for me to watch the different people in marketing look at this, because there's a lot of old school marketers that have been gamifying the system for their clients, that have been, rather than investing in a community manager, investing in understanding their customers, they've done these things where they've uploaded these ridiculous videos that have nothing to do with the brand. But when they pull a report for the brand, they say, look how many potential customers we saw, or potential eyeballs saw this piece of content. And they've been getting away with that, selling that crap for years. And if you're a business owner right now, the exciting part about this, and this is why I'm most excited about it, is I believe great brands that invest in their community and have these great conversations are going to be rewarded on Facebook.
Right.
The brands that had faking it till they made it and doing this on Gamify, they're scared to death because they have no community. They have no true audience. What they've done is they've done a great job of growing their spectator audience. And now what Facebook is pretty much telling them, your spectators are not going to see your content at all. And that's, it is a massive shift. I think it's a great day for the consumer, right? Let's take off the marketing hat for a second. It is a great day to be a consumer of Facebook, because what you're going to start to see is the content of your friends. If you have your network of people and they're engaging on a piece of content and they're having this in-depth threaded conversation, they're going to serve that up to you, because let's face it, if our friends are talking about it, either we want to agree with our friends or we want to jump in and argue with our friends.
That's right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's how we work.
And I always say, Facebook's job is to actually give you the best experience. And I've said that in some of the presentation I do. They're in the business of giving you, they know they have you for a specific amount of time every day, whether it's 30, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long. They want to give you the best possible experience that you can have there, because if you don't, then you're not going to come back. You're going to go and see something else. You're going to say, okay, I'll spend my time on YouTube or on Instagram, or which actually is the same house, but I'll go on a different platform. So actually it's really consumer centric. It's about giving you an experience, and you want to see things that are engaging and people that are actually participating in. And this is, it's kind of like, I want to say it's social stupid, but I think it's really what it is about. It's like, it's getting away from these billboards of crap that we've been seeing lately, and it's going to clean this up. So I think overall it's good news for everybody.
Yeah, and I think, for those that are out there, that this kind of gets overwhelming, because you're like, wait a second, I have a Facebook page and there's all this. Some of the things that you're going to have to start to look at is, okay, how do I get my community to share my content, my link for my website or my product on their personal account, right? And then this on Facebook, this is a little bit of a trick, right? On Twitter, people will retweet. Twitter's my favorite platform, of course, of all the platforms. I really love Twitter, but I'll share on Twitter a lot more freedomly. I'll retweet a lot more openly, right? I'll share more brands. But if you're going to get on my own personal Facebook, it's almost like, hey, like that not only doesn't have to resonate with me, but it has to be something of value for my audience, right? And so when you're thinking about this as a small business owner, if you have friends and family and your customers, the content that's going to work is when they take your link and they share it out to their friends from their account, right? When they take, so this is like what I like to look at. This is great for niche influencer marketing. This is great for employee advocacy, right? If you get, hey, I want to include my employee. Like, this is a great example to kind of tie it back to your first question, right? Let's do a Facebook Live where we interview 4 or 5 of our employees at our company. And we talk to them about what gets them up in the morning. Don't talk to them about their business or their favorite product, because that's not what the audience wants to see. They want to know more about the people that work at your company, right? So interview that. Hey, what gets you up in the morning? What's your dream job? If you had, you know, one of Pat Flynn, you know, a good friend, and he just posted a question out there. He said, if you had $210 million, what would you do with it, right? And the answers were amazing, and the engaged conversation was really inspiring. But the reason I suggest that is get 5 or 6 of your employees, interview them on Facebook Live, because guess what? This is how this works, is that you're including them in the content. They feel like you care about their voice. They're sharing something that's personal to them, and guess what they do? They share that to their personal page, right? Their personal Facebook. And then all of a sudden this starts this kind of conversation, and then their mom might, you know, oh my goodness, I see my kids on Facebook Live. My mom's going to share that to Facebook. And those are the conversations and type of content that's going to get rewarded, right? Just taking something, putting it on your Facebook page without putting ad spend behind it, you're not going to get any visibility. Yet getting an employee, and maybe your employee only has 1,000 Facebook friends, right? The idea for Facebook is those 1,000 people are going to care about that employee sharing that content more than the 100,000 that are your spectators of your Facebook page.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's a great time, because if you truly invest in understanding why your community shares content, and you invest in these conversations, you're going to be rewarded on Facebook. You're going to get amazing growth. You're going to get amazing, but the shift, right? It is a little bit, you're going to have to spend more time on the community aspect and less time figuring out when's the best time to post.
Right.
Or what's the perfect,
because it doesn't matter. You know, when is the best time to post? My answer is now.
Yeah.
You know,
I have no idea what time your audience.
I don't know. I mean, it's just is it a good quality post? But I think all this is putting engagement, which has been a buzzword. A lot of people are using it, but in a whole new light. Like really, like you need to understand what engagement is. You know, and it's not anything other than people are participating. So what it means, you know, for you as your brand, as a business, is that if you have a post, you're putting something on your page that is getting engagement, which means that people are participating, commenting, asking questions, whatever it is, because it's engaging, it's asking questions, it's just poking at you. Hey, what do you think about that? We're thinking of doing this thing. What do you think? Then all of a sudden, all your friends are going to see that, and this is how you expose your brand to other people, is through your friends' engagement. And that's, you know, really, you know, they finally, I think, figured it out, and I think it's going to be really, really, really great. A bit scary, because again, it's changing. So us as marketers, we're like, oh God, you know, what do we do now? But overall, I think I agree with you. It's really great news, because it's taken away people that have been gaming the system. And that is a great news. So now I'd like to hear, and yeah, this is engagement, what I'm doing. I'm not going to sidestep it, but I really want to hear from you in terms of what you've seen on your page that as work in engagement. You know, please share with other, you know, other business owners and other people out there. What have you been doing that has really worked? Engaging your audience? What types of questions? What type of post? You know, how do you do it? I want to know, and I'm sure Brian would like to know. He's going to be speaking soon at the Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, so maybe I'll get a couple of feedback there from you guys. So, you know, put it in the comments right below. The third one I want to talk, which is the final and third one, is Facebook ads. You know, a lot of businesses, again, are throwing money at it. They're seeing they're understanding that the way to actually put your post in front of people is to leverage the ads, which are extraordinary. But you know, from your perspective, you know, talk to me about how do you see the Facebook ads playing in everything that we've been talking about since this morning?
So, you know, I think one of the hardest things to understand is what does the ad budget even, or what does your ad strategy and goals mean for your business, right? I think oftentimes we look at ads as we use an ad to sell and we post on Facebook to create conversation, right? Like, I mean, I've heard that numerous times from multiple brands, but interestingly enough, we have to use ads to educate, to inspire and to motivate, right? And I think that's a different approach, because sometimes when we look at a thing, we're like, well, if we're going to put money behind it, where are we going to take people? And let's face it, in today's world, nobody wants to be redirected to a different website. Nobody wants to be told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, and most of the time, nobody wants to be prompted and said, like, if you want to learn more, click on this link. No, if you got my attention, tell me more right now. Like, don't beat me into having to click somewhere else, and then it's a gated piece of content. Then you have to get my email. Then I have to, by that time, you've not only lost me, but I'm not coming back to your brand, right? And so when you look at ads, I think we're going to see a little bit of a shift in ads to be a little bit more about educating people on what your brand is about, what your company is about. Also, we're going to use ads to better understand our audience, right? The thing that Facebook is amazing with is the custom audience, the lookalike audiences, the ability to use your Facebook pixel on your website to retarget people on Facebook. This is where the money's at, right? Like, that spend is, it's this new change on Facebook. I've heard some people kind of go all over. We're not going to see less money spent on Facebook ads. Ads actually might increase in cost. My guess is a year from now, people are going to wish they were using Facebook ads in 2018, because now with less of this organic reach, if people are more engaged on Facebook a year from now, every marketer is going to want to say, how do I get the more engaged social media user, right? And ads are going to do that, but it's not about, this is that interesting thing. And I always say, it's not just millennials and Gen Z, but we usually label millennial Gen Z, but nobody likes being interrupted. Nobody likes being, having something thrown in their face. What they like is they like something that relates with them, that's something that is, relative in context, but also something that connects, right? And it's, I'm drinking Hint water right now, and Hint water actually is a perfect example. They did a sponsored post of an interview their CEO had on a Fast Company blog. And this is different than what you would say most Facebook ads are, right? Most Facebook ads is they would have put the interview on their own blog, right? Or they would have only promoted their own piece of content, but they promoted this interview that she had, and she used to work for AOL, and she was addicted to Diet Coke. She decided she wanted to have a flavored water. She invented this company and this product. And what happened was the ad came up there and was like, I love my Diet Coke. I had to figure out a way to get off of it. For me as the consumer, I was like, well, I love my Diet Coke and I hate all flavored water. Like, give me a break. Is your flavored water that good? And then I clicked on the article. Halfway through reading the article, I said, what kind of flavors do they have at Hint Water, right? I then went to her website. I purchased a product. I got it and was blown away. I posted it to my Facebook page. And you know how many people used my discount code? 34 people used my discount code and bought Hint Water. So if you look at the ROI of that ad, is that they promoted a post that wasn't selling. It was simply educating me on the founder and the why of the company. That it then inspired me to not only purchase it, but then to share it back out. Now I'm talking about it on your show, right? This is one of those things when we look at ads, it doesn't have to be selling. It can ultimately, it's about relatability. And also the other thing about it is, one of the things I think we forget, like you'll hear people say like, man, I love how custom audiences are with our Facebook and we're able to really dial in. And then I ask them what kind of content they share there. And they're like, well, I share like the broad content that everybody loves. And I'm like, wait a second. If you know exactly who you're targeting, who you're paying money to reach, shouldn't that content only be for them? Right? Like this is that weird spot where we can really get personalized. We can really get direct, right? Like, a lot of social media, even like, live video, as much as I love live video, oftentimes I have no idea who's watching it, right? Like my most recent one that you watched before the show, it's one of my most successful ones. It got 6,500, views of that video.
Very impressive.
The audience is all over the place, right? It's small business owners, it's marketers. It's two of my good friends that worked at a data center company that have nothing to do with marketing or social media, but they were connected with. One of the things that we kind of often forget, I think, in Facebook is not everything has to be for everyone on Facebook. Right. When someone tells me, well, Brian, we all should be on Facebook. There's 1.9 billion users on there or whatever. I always ask them, are you reaching 1.9 billion users? And like, that's not what matters, right? And this is where Facebook, I think, is getting it right. Facebook has said, we don't care that we have 1.9 billion users. We care that the people that are relative to our community are on there. And when they're on there, we want them engaged. So if you're out there, if you're thinking about ads, what I ask is think about ads more than just selling. Think about ads more than just a add-on to what you're doing. If something really resonates on live video, create a piece of content on that to use as a Facebook ad. If it really resonates with the ad, maybe create a blog post about it. If it really resonates with a blog post, why not create an infographic or a white paper on that, right? Like, this is one of those things that it doesn't take much to put a bunch of stuff out there. But once we get something that works, let's build on it, right? Like for me, that podcast episode, like I'm now building new episodes to my upcoming podcast that I had no plans on, right? There was no plans for my, my 2 or 3 next pieces of content, but I looked at what my audience was asking me questions about. And I said, and this is a novel concept, right? Oh my goodness, everyone's asking me about, user-generated content. And I was like, you know what? I've never done a podcast episode on user-generated content, and my audience is screaming at me. Now, I could be like a typical, marketer. Sometimes we get in there and I say, well, on my content calendar, I have space in May to talk about that, right? Like that's the old way of doing things. Yeah. But now, if Facebook's going to reward the fact that I have all this engagement on a post, and all the people that are engaging are telling me they want user-generated content, guess what my podcast episode is going to be about tomorrow? User-generated content, and right? And this is one of those things that I use a little bit of ad spend. I use a little bit of Facebook Live, but ultimately the goal is better understand your customers, provide value to them, and then that's where we're going to see things kind of take off. Yeah. I think Facebook ads are way undervalued. They're cheap compared to what we're putting money in everywhere else. But you have to start having a true strategy beyond sales when it comes to
and I think that's the biggest mistake that I see people do out there is they collapse branding, marketing, and sales. So it's kind of like they want to, I'm going to put $100, therefore I'm going to get something back. And if I don't get a sale that it didn't work, and Facebook is not. It's not a sales tool, it's a branding and marketing tool. It's a way to actually put your content, your brand in front of people and engaging them. The sale is going to be, it's going to happen, but it's not going to be like a one-to-one relationship. And I think people will think about it like more of a strategic sale. And it's always the wrong approach with Facebook. It's not a sales tool, it's a marketing tool. It's a distinction, but it's different. Now, I'd like to hear from you guys. Facebook ads, what has worked for you, what hasn't worked. Primarily we're interested in what has worked. That's really interesting for all of us. But also, if you've done some stuff that didn't work, or you actually learned from your mistakes, please share that with us, because we'd like not to do it ourselves too. And on that note, Brian, was really, really informative. I think we've shed a lot of a light on Facebook Live and how to use it for a small business. The changes to the Facebook feeds and what does it mean to you as a business owner, and what it means to all of us. Here we go, changing again. And then Facebook ads, how to use them, how to leverage them. Is this a good idea? I mean, I think there is nothing better than Facebook ads. I mean, what tool do you have out there that allow you to put your content in front of exactly your target audience? To the street, almost to the zip code, right? There's absolutely nothing out there. So, this was really, 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 really cool. Thank you so much, Brian, for spending the time and again bringing your A game and your energy to the video. That's really cool. And thank you so much for participating and being with me this morning.
It was my pleasure. I had a great time in Florida. Hopefully I get to see you again very soon. But yeah, this is great. And I think for everybody that's out there, it's take the direction. We're all learning together. Kind of look at change as a new opportunity to get some new experiences from our customers. So thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So actually, before we part ways, so first of all, I'm going to see you in social media marketing world, because I'm going over there. I'm taking my team to San Diego. So that's going to be exciting. How do people get a hold of you? Like, how do they, what would they hire your services for? What you're a public speaker, you do, so tell us a little bit about how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. So consistency is important in this crazy digital world. So much is going on. iSocial Fans is kind of my personal brand. It's my company. So I'm iSocial Fans on every social network. I always tell people I created a podcast called FOMO Fans, which is the fear of missing out, to give people one place to go. So if you're overwhelmed by social, maybe you're not even a podcast listener, but you've heard about podcasts. My podcast is FOMO Fans with a Z or a Z at the end. That's where I kind of direct people if you want a one-stop shop to kind of get my content on a weekly basis. And then, for me, I like working with brands from a strategy perspective. I also love speaking at events, big and small. This month alone, I'm speaking at the U.S. Sailing Leadership Forum, actually in St. Pete, Florida. So I'll be down there in St. Pete. And then the very next day, I'm going over to Fort Lauderdale to speak at the Paintball Distributor Conference. And this is all about how do they leverage social to build their audience, connect with digital natives. And then like the week after that, I'm speaking at the Google Startup Movement in San Francisco. So for me, brands of all sizes, businesses of all kinds, I really like, for me, I really enjoy inspiring, motivating, educating, but ultimately I want to help people do what they love doing. And if they can come listen to me, get maybe it's just hey, now I'm going to press the button for the first time on Facebook Live, or now I'm going to re-examine how we're using Facebook. If I can get an audience to do one of those things, right, inspired to do one thing, I'm winning. So I love doing any and all that. So I'm always open. Really, no brand, no business, no industry event is too small. I spoke at a company event called Bark World, where there was more dogs on tables than there were people in the audience. So if that's an example of who I'm willing to address, I'm even willing to address the non-human species when it comes to.
I don't know about the paintball one. I mean, it's like, because maybe if people have paintball guns in the audience and they don't like your speech and they would like to shoot at you, would you be fast?
It'll be an interesting one, that's for sure. I'm excited to see. They have a lot of nuances, right? What kind of they can show on Facebook, what they can't show on Facebook, as far as a gun and violence, and so I love challenges. You put the challenge out there, and everybody who's watching this, feel free. I love when someone tells me, "Hey, my industry, this is great, Brian, but my industry it won't work, or my business it won't work, or because I love that, right? Like I put that out on stage the very first time. I was in Manchester, United Kingdom, and I put it out there and said, give me a business. And someone said, a mortuary. And as soon as they said, I was like, touche, really good job. Like when I asked for anything, like they literally threw out a mortuary, but on stage live, I gave them 9 ideas how they could use live video to grow their mortuary business. And to me, that was like the light bulb went off right there. And I was like, bring it on. So if people that are watching, feel free, challenge me. Tell me, one of the companies that I worked with, they were an embroidery shop in the United Kingdom, right? And they were doing embroidery on book bags and things. And hey, Brian, what about, how would we use it? And we came up with lots of great ideas to really build a core audience. They actually folded that business, started a new business, and they were able to leverage the community they built because of this kind of strategy. So for me, that's what it's all about. I love, my true passion is connecting great people with great people to do great things. And I think Facebook is taking that leap to do that. And it's kind of what I love doing.
That's very cool. So thank you so much, Brian. Now you know how to get a hold of Brian. Again, if you have any questions or any challenges, challenge Brian with a business that is absolutely not ready for Facebook Live. Bring it on. That's Brian's world. And on that note, thank you so much, Brian. And I look forward to seeing you in San Diego.
Yes, sir. See you there.